Hello everyone, this is part 3 of our 3D letters. Today we will be decorating them. Basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to make like a collage with your 3D letters. In class we've made many different collages, whether they're digital or traditional. And you all know that a collage is basically like a bunch of papers and things that are put together to create like a design or something that, you know, that things that interest you. And if so the letter is about you, then you're gonna put things about you. This one I actually made for my mom a couple of years ago, and it's things that she likes. Pictures of us, her name, she plays a guitar, she loves music. And so you can use a variety of things. At the end, we will cover it with something called gel medium, which is kind of like a transparent glue, and when it dries, it makes it glossy and everything will stick together and it'll protect it, and it could last, you know, for years. We've had this for a very long time. So here I just put a couple of things that I found. When I work with something like this, I like to have everything available so I can see what I have and then I can use it, because if it's not in front of me, then I cannot use it. I'm not going to remember that I have it, right? So you can use, I have music sheet note paper that I buy when I go to like secondhand stores. I'm always looking for you know, those books that have those brown edges, the ones that smell like they've been there for years. I love those. I think that makes, you know, any type of collage or anything you're working on, it just makes it look so much better. It has character, it's vintage. I have book paper, recycled book paper. These are wooden letters. You can use sticker letters. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the things, but for example, like glitter, I'm not the biggest fan of glitter, but the glitter pens are okay. You can use loteria cards, beads, fabric. These are like pressed leaves, they're great. And our main materials that we're going to use today are these very colorful we're definitely going to need scissors, and we are going to need a cup with water and glue. And what you do is you're trying to add maybe like 70% glue, 30% water. It has to be a certain consistency that it's not too watery, but it's not too thick. And this is what's gonna make your paper stick to your canvas, to your board, to your letter, the letter that we were working on. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to tear the paper. I don't like to cut it, although it just depends on, you know, your style. And I will show you a couple of examples from past assignments or past projects that you can use as inspiration. I am a very visual person, so I like to get ideas. These are just a couple of letters that were finished, so I'm going to show you how to do something like this. And if you see, they've used a bunch of things. I'm not a big fan of painting the letters. You can use covered with book paper, with stickers. This one, they try to make a racetrack and there's actually cars there. And so the possibilities are endless. It's just a matter of kind of seeing what it is that you like. This student in particular, she was amazing with the tissue paper. She would cut tiny little pieces and, you know, glue each section at a time. I can't do that. I like to work in bigger chunks. If you see this one, I did this. This is a scrapbook that I made for my son. So from here, she made smaller tiny little pieces with the tissue paper, and I like to, when I'm working with tissue paper, I'll choose like 3 or 4 colors, and then I'll start with the darker one, and then I'll move up, and I cut my tissue papers, I tear them larger, and I use some stickers. These are I always have, when I'm doing something like this, I always like to cover the board or whatever it is that I'm working on. This was a portfolio for class. I always put like a textured paper, like something like this, or even if it's a solid color, something that's gonna cover whatever it is I'm trying to cover. So if I leave spaces, at least there's something there underneath that'll cover the board, or that'll cover the letter. And so I always think about that. I'm gonna cover it all with something, and then I'm gonna keep on adding. These are magazines, pieces of magazines. Whenever I find any words or pictures that I find in magazines, I will save them. I have a little box, and this is an assignment that we did in class where we used a watercolor paint to create techniques. You can use stuff like this, cut little pieces. You can use a stapler, 3-hole punch, ribbon, buttons, watercolors. Paint something and then glue it on your collage, on your letter. Paints, color pencil, stickers, fancy paper, gift wrapping, bags. If you get like these cards for your birthday, you can keep those. Movie, concert stubs, magazine cutouts, pictures, newspaper clips, drawings, vintage paper, the music sheet note, map, book paper. I love to collect those whenever I go to a vintage shop or a secondhand store. Construction paper, any type of paper that can be glued, you can use. So you have to kind of think outside of the box and think, what do I have available? What do I have that I can use to glue onto my letter, to glue onto my collage? This is another list of things that I found in a book. Wrapping paper, tissue paper, you know, greeting cards, comic strips. It's just a variety of things that you can use. More examples. This is a hat box that I made. Those vintage stamps. This is another collage. There's so many things that you can do, that you can use to cover whatever it is that you're making, whether it's a collage on paper or you're trying to decorate your letter. Okay, so we started with making our letter. Now we're going to decorate it. So we have a blank canvas. Remember, everything is solid, everything is covered, it's strong, sturdy, and I'm going to start decorating it, and you will see it just depends on, you know, what you want to do. I wanted to use these colors. I always start with the tissue paper with the darker colors, and I will just tear pieces. You can cut them, it's up to you. You cannot put one and glue it because it's gonna see through. You don't want the craft paper to show. You want it to be thick enough that you don't see what your letter is made of. So I'll cut like a bunch of them, not cut them, I'll tear them. And then whenever I do this, I always think of doing it in sections. So I'll do all the first darkest color that I have, and then I have my water with my glue. Remember, it cannot be too thick, it cannot be too thin. And then I'm gonna put some of my water with glue, and then I'll put some of my tissue paper. When I'm doing this, I'm making sure that I'm pressing down. So I'll get rid of all the air bubbles, and I'm gluing it. If it's not gluing, that means you need to add more glue. That you've added way too much water. Okay, so I'll add a couple more. Because remember, I don't want to see what's behind my letter. I want it to be thick. You can always go back and add more things. That's the great thing about these type of projects, that there's really no right or wrong. You just kind of have to go for it. And so I think about, how am I going to utilize this and still add the rest of the colors, right? For example, for this one, I use the dark green, the lighter green, and the purple. This is like your base. So I always try to scatter them evenly. So if I use that here, I'll use some here. And then I'll go in, maybe add some here. So I'm leaving space for the other colors. It's up to you how you do this. I work a little bit messier. And it doesn't have to be a letter, it can be a shape. I've had kids do skulls, hearts, star. You're gonna cover the entire letter with the tissue paper. And it's okay if it runs through the sides, it's fine. Now, if I want to put book paper, the magazines, or I will also consider that first, just so I don't waste tissue paper. And the tissue paper can be like the gift tissue paper, the one that you use for the boxes or for the bags. It doesn't have to be art tissue paper. So I'm going to cut here some of this book paper and start adding some pieces. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller. Okay, so I've covered it. Make sure that you cover everything, that you don't see the craft paper. It's completely covered. You've added enough layers and things that you like. I still need to add more things. I want to print some stuff out. I want to personalize it, and right now at this moment I don't have everything that I need, but you can always go back and work on it. I've added some glitter. Not sure if you can actually see it with my glitter pens, and I just kind of rub like this so the glitter will rub onto the paper. Just little sections here and there. If you have another color of glitter, it'll probably work better. I had a red one, but it ran out of glitter. This one was a little bit darker, so I'll just put glitter a little bit just around so it has a little bit of shine. But that's just, it's up to you, whatever you want to use. I found this trim. I might use it for the edges, like in the middle, or this one. I've never used this before, and I just thought it might be interesting to add it like all in the middle, all around. This you would need a glue gun, definitely, because a glue stick and the water with glue will not work. You can keep on adding more things as you go along. Stickers, things that you find. I do want to spell my name out with these letters. You have the sticker ones. I added the leaves here and here on this side, and the leaves are really easy. You can purchase them in any craft store. They're easy to attach. You just need to use the water with the glue, and then just make sure you press down on everything so it actually sticks. And if you see some parts that are not gluing, that's fine. With the gel medium, all of that will glue. So let's say that you've completely finished it. You've added every single thing you want, just like the one I had at the beginning, right? You've added everything. Now it's time to add the gloss. The acrylic gel medium will serve for many purposes. So it will make it shine. It'll protect it from the sun, from any water. It'll also glue it together to make it stronger so nothing will fall off, because eventually when you use the glue sticks or the glue, something might not stick very well, and then you're gonna see it. You're gonna realize that it fell, or you've lost a piece of sticker or something that you glued that you really wanted. So the gel medium will protect it. It's like the final gloss, the final step to all of this. And what you do is clean your brush. It's white, but when it dries clear, and you just have to add it. Make sure that everything is covered. It's okay if it looks white. Nothing's gonna happen. It'll dry. When it dries, it'll dry shiny. Just don't leave chunks of it, like in the corner, especially the edges. If you're doing it, don't leave chunks, because when it dries, it might not dry clear if it has like big chunks, big pieces. Try to rub it, spread it as even as possible. And you have to do this to the entire letter, even the inside parts, like this. And see how there's little chunks right there? Get rid of them. You put an entire coat of the gel medium all around, the inside, the outside, and then at the end, just to make sure when I'm finished, I always run the brush through the edges like this, just to make sure that I've covered, everything, and that I haven't left big pieces here and there. As you can see, it's already drying, and once it dries clear. and it's shiny, glossy. It looks awesome. I've had letters for years and they look exactly the same. But just remember to clean out the edges. And that you have everything, like every single section is covered, because you might miss a spot and it's gonna look weird. Again, especially the corners. You have to also do the edges, like everything, inside and out. Every single piece of this letter must be covered with the gel medium completely. An even coat all around. It's okay if it's white. Like I said, it'll dry up and it'll be clear. If you later on decide that you want to add more things, you can. That's not a problem. Then just add more gel medium later. You can still overlap everything. So I hope that you've enjoyed the process of making 3D letters. It is a very long process. Usually in class it'll take us about 3 weeks to a month, just depends. And make sure you watch all 3 videos, part 1, part 2, part 3, and pay attention to those tips that I give you. Just be patient and take advantage of this process of you know, not being so worried about everything that's going on, and just focus on making art, on having fun, of enjoying something different, of doing something different. You know, it's always good, and you always feel accomplished when you finish something like this, whether it's for you or you're going to give it to someone, to a special someone, or to your mom. I'm sure that they will love it. Every single time I've given this to someone, they absolutely love the letters. And I also think it's a great way to end an entire year of school. Everybody's always worried about graduation and prom and everything else, and this kind of slows down the class, and it, you know, people talk, they have fun, and they give each other ideas. It inspires you sometimes to create more art. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.